go. We're recording now. So welcome back to the Rodcast, everybody. What episode are we on? 22.
We're up there.
We're getting there. We're ticking along. But, hey, we've just got back from a mental trip, Lecca. And before we get into that, we're joined by a very, very special guest because he was actually the first ever guest on the Rodcast, Mr. Pete the Goatman Riley. Welcome back, brother. How you going?
Thank you, gentlemen. It's indeed a pleasure to be back with you guys.
We have a wounded soldier. What's going on, chicken wing?
Had a rotator cuff, the surgery, bit of panel beating done on the old carcass, but
too many casts off Steep Point, mate.
I think maybe night clubbing in the 80s.
Just fist bumping.
Yeah.
Maybe too many assists on the dance floor, like lifting some large guests.
Mate, I'm surprised. I probably need some shoulder surgery after that last trip that we did, Rothy, with the fist pumps from the fish that I caught. But we're going to get into that a little bit later on. But this is the first time you've been in the studio, so
mate, this is absolutely fantastic. I remember, I remember in the first stages, Lecca said, "Come up here and have a look." And I remember there was a particular time you were doing a bit of experimental work with a blowtorch on the
yeah. So this is what Goat's referring to there. He's just throwing me under the bus a bit, and this is my trade skills coming into play again. The walls that you see behind us are all treated pine, and I didn't realise how toxic the treatment for this wood is, and I thought it would look kind of rustic if I was to I think it was your idea with the blowtorch.
You do it, I'll leave.
Yeah, so I was hitting all these wood panels with the blowtorch, and I got through a couple of them. I thought, yeah, we'll do all of them. And Goat happened to call Lec that over and go, "Hey, don't do that. That stuff will kill you." And I looked it up, and sure enough,
I would have imagined you would have been like a bit of crispy pork in the Northbridge window after that, because it's pretty toxic stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, thanks for letting me know. I'm glad I'm still here to tell the story. But no, it turned out pretty good.
No, it's fantastic.
Getting a bit more rustic, and we've actually, you know what? Let's kick it off. You brought a lure in because
before you do, last fish you caught, go.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been a little while. I've been probably out of action for probably about a month, and not just through the shoulder injury, but my wife banned me from fishing. She actually chucked an absolute wobbly.
She's going to chuck an even bigger one now. You're saying this.
Destroying the freezer. So an egg from the chook pen had rolled in behind the fridge. The dog runs around with these eggs, this Labrador, and this egg must have rolled behind the fridge. Anyway, this thing is 6 months ago. It's now the weather's heating up. The egg pops, and Penny goes, "I can smell something fishy around here. I can smell something fishy."
Penny's your wife?
Yeah. Anyway, get this smell, and it's like coming and going. You can't pinpoint it. Anyway, I'm there one afternoon, just had the dog out, a couple of beers, walked the dog down the point. He picks up on this smell, and she starts to investigate. Opens the freezer that we got from years ago. I'm strictly banned from using that. And there's 2 exploded beer cans in there with shit everywhere. There's about 20 kilos of burley from my mincer and some manky, like, you know, that freezer burn muleys.
Yeah.
And she's gone absolutely troppo. So I've been banned from fishing.
Yeah,
so, you got grounded. The guy got grounded.
But before that, I mean, hats off to her. She's put up with a lot of shit. But I went, took Volkanovski.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah.
I took the Volk out fishing with his mate. And
with Jake, his filmer.
Yeah.
So Volk was over helping Jack Della get ready for his Islam fight.
Yeah. So
how was that experience?
Volk was very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very likable, personable bloke. No airs or pretense about him. Just really nice bloke. And I got the call. I think I went to work. 9 o'clock, I got the call from Jack Della. He goes, "Yeah, it's on. We're going to go for a fish." So Jack, Volk, and his mate were going to come out with me. We're going to hit Rotto. Beautiful day. And then I got a call like an hour later, and Jack goes, "Oh, Goat, I can't come. bulks opened me up, give me this like a knee, like a knee to the forehead.
On his
Opened him up.
eyebrow, eh?
Let him, eh?
Yeah.
Opened him up like a Christmas present. I went far out. He said, "You're still good to take Volk out." So I rang boss at work and I said, "Look, once in a lifetime opportunity." Bang. He goes, "Yeah, go for it." 10:30, 11 o'clock. We're on the. I'm waiting on the dock there at Hillary's. The Volk comes down, mate comes down, off we go. So yeah, it was bizarre, very bizarre.
Wicked.
Yeah. How'd you go? Did you get him on some fish?
It was the day after the demersal ban, so we couldn't catch any snapper. But
That's a that week was pretty good snapper weather too, if I remember correctly.
yeah, it wouldn't have been bad. But unfortunately, the wind came in. We got over to Rotto. We watched the whales. We chased some whales around, and those guys were loving it. They said this is the best weather they've ever had. Got them over to Tomo's, and we trawled up a couple of these big pike. And they had one of my mate, a guy from Froth. I saw him at the jetty, and he gave me 2 live crayfish. And he goes, "Yeah, we'll see how these go." Chucked them in the esky
wicked.
bag, and I said, "Yeah, could do for a bit of a feed." And yeah, we got these beautiful pike. Had some raw crayfish and wasabi, and yeah, it was a good arvo.
Raw crayfish. I've never heard of that.
It could have done with a bit of soy. Let's just say that.
Yeah, right.
Good way to butcher it. Yeah,
Oh,
right. Well, demersals
sick.
is by the time this podcast comes out, there may have been a decision on what's going to happen going forward with the demersals.
Oh yeah.
Where's your head at with it all?
I'm pretty lucky because I don't rely on jewfish as a target species. It's more like a bycatch. I love my snapper, and I don't see them being too under pressure.
Yeah, I
But-
feel the same.
I know in the metro area it gets hammered pretty hard. I feel for the Jewies. But yeah, I think it's going to be pretty tough, but I've got a fairly diverse target range. So
You were saying that last episode that you love the pelagic fish. That's your
not just pelagics, but you got to get back to your basics like your not even King George, just your sand whiting,
yeah.
your herring. You got to treasure what we have as a resource, and you know every year it sort of wanes and it ebbs, and you've got like seasons where the herring and the whiting are good, but if you do your homework, there's always good fish to be found, plus your squid. So
You become a better chef as well. Like you become better at cooking if you mix up your species, because it's
Sure.
not like people always want to target Jewies because they're easy to cook and they're easy to taste good. Same with snapper. But I don't know, how do you cook your herring? How do you cook your tailor? Remember we did the ceviche down the beach. That was one of the fucking best meals I've had, I reckon.
I mean, I've eaten a lot of salmon and tailor, but who you showed me that, and I've been serving the people down at Froth.
Yeah.
And that's their favourite dish now.
Yeah.
So yellowtail king and tailor, it's like dynamite. But I think the herring and the whiting, you got to do a bit of microsurgery, have a fine knife, fillet them properly, skin them, and they're magic. You could do like a tempura. The herring you can do, wrap them in alfoil with a bit of mango, bit of coriander. Tailor, just fillet them, don't scale them, don't do anything. Bit of coarse salt, pepper, and cook them skin side down with the scales on, and that just retains the moisture, and they're bloody beautiful, especially on toast. So
You had me until you said coriander. That can fuck right off. I hate
Oh, really?
coriander.
Yeah.
well, I can't stand parsley, so whatever.
Oh, parsley's even worse. But yeah, I agree with you, mate. I think we all need to sort of diversify what we're going and catching. I'm more than anything, I'm looking forward to really trying to nail down on the kingfish this summer. That's something that I really want to knuckle down on. And then King George whiting as well. I've not really caught a big KG.
What about if I can help you out there? We use a King George to catch you a big kingfish.
That'll work. That'll be
Yeah,
fine.
right.
2 birds, 1 stone. And then I'll fillet the kingfish and cut the King George back out of its belly. 2
Do
birds,
like
1
the
stone.
the one where they stuff the chicken, the pigeon, and the turkey.
Oh, what's that? The turducken.
Yeah, so you can do that.
Do that with the fish.
That's it.
Well, this time of year, we talk about diversity as well. Like this has always been, we're like in the leading up to my favourite time of the year. And whatever happens with the demersals, like that's potentially going to be off the table if it's not great, because generally the crays are running. They've just started running here. So the whites migration, for those that don't know, the perilous or whatever does a couple of years, they come in, settle in on the inshore reef. Sorry, I butchered that. They come in and settle in on the inshore reefs, grow, then they molt, and then they migrate out to deeper waters. And that migration is just in the millions of crays. So
they walk northwest, don't they, generally?
Yeah, I think there was one got tagged off Frio and got recaptured within a couple of months at the Abrolhos.
You have a Cicerello's tag on it?
Yeah.
Way.
Yeah, I don't think they all migrate that far.
A snapper, mackie, dolly, marlin, whatever, I can see that. But a crayfish going all that way.
Yeah, so they'll migrate. They'll go hard. So
I suppose they'd find the current too, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know too. I know when they go hard and they're pretty easy to catch. So over here on the West Coast, you can set your pots. Basically, when you set your pots, when the whites are running, you're setting them off the back of the reef in the sand, not far out off the back, maybe 5-10 meters. But you'll get them in sort of 5 meters of water at the beginning, and then you'll get them all the way. The pros will get them all the way out into
as the moon phase changes, they get deeper and deeper. But yeah, the guys have been out there diving, I think, in the last 2 days, and free diving. Guy got like 24 crays, and he said at the boat they just sorted them out for size, dived for another 5 minutes, made out their numbers, and then bang, they had their feed, then they went squidding.
Well, that's it over here as well. So the boat limit is 24, so that's 8 per person, maximum of 3 people's license on a boat. So you can take 24 crays if you've got 3 people. This is in the past. And then abalone, when that lines up with it as well, abalone season. So it'll be the first Saturday of, a couple of months. So we've only got abalone season open for a couple of days a year here. But when that lines up with the whites running, you can generally go out, get your crays, then get 15 abalone each.
And then go back out fishing.
And then you can go back out and you can go chase demersals as well. So you go out and you'll get, a snapper, a dewey, and then come back in on the inshore reef and grab a couple of tailor as well. So it's like the whole fisheries all line up. And then, we've got the fads out now, which will start to fire up as well. And then Marin season's coming up at this time of year as well. So we're not short for any sort of options.
And the Swan River too.
And the Swan River's starting to fire.
Flatties, flounder, mulloway upriver.
Karrakatta Bank at the moment is alive with flatties and flounder.
Yep.
And I don't know if you saw that shot of the bull sharks under the traffic bridge.
How crazy was that?
I mean,
dozens and dozens of them.
Those things are eating some serious fish. So mullet, herring, tailor. So the river system's very healthy, and that's just the forerunner. So the next full tide, those guys will be like heading up towards Point Walter.
So they'll be moving up the river.
Yep, and there'll be mulloway and all sorts of things. The mulloway probably are quite a fair way up the river by now. Probably,
yeah, they are.
But yeah, traditionally the full moons. The river's very healthy at the moment. So
let's just say we get a bit of a negative result in terms of fishing over the coming weeks with the demersal fishing decision. So for any of those listeners that aren't in Western Australia, like this, potentially we'll still get to be able to fish, but a demersal fish is like our pink snapper, ball chin groper, break sea cod, jewfish. They're the main eating
your bottom
fish.
dwelling fish.
Yep. So and they're under pressure at the moment. There's going to be an announcement soon as to whether the fishery will reopen for us.
And when we say jewfish, by the way, this is something a record we need to set straight because a lot of our listeners on the East Coast are getting DHU, our West Australian jewfish, confused with what they call a jewfish on the East Coast, which is a mulloway. So if we say jewfish, we mean a West Australian jewfish, completely different species. If we say mulloway, we mean what you guys see as a JEW fish.
So our jewfish is similar to the pearl perch that they get over there.
Yes,
but
way
bigger models. So, and prized eating fish, they're under pressure and potentially we may not be able to fish for them over Christmas and who knows. So given the state of where that's at, like I said, we're waiting on a decision. If someone's going to go target something else, I want to pick both of you. I've got two guys here that know a fair bit about mulloway. Talk to us a little bit about some of the tips and techniques and tactics they might want to start to learn about if they're going to start chasing mulloway in the river.
Yeah. So typically October, November is the time of year where all the big mulloway go, and also mulloway from outside the river. The local river fish and also the ocean fish come in and they sort of meet in certain parts of the river, and that's the deeper parts. So for context, I'll pull my tinny up in these deeper parts around Mosman's, Bicton, Blackwall Reach, places like that. If I turn my motor off and I'm quiet enough, in the middle of the night time, you can hear it. They're like frogs. You can hear them croaking. Yep, exactly like that. And you can hear it like acoustically traveling through the hull of the tinny. It's pretty amazing.
So you know you're in the right spot.
You know you're in the right spot. But the thing is, when they're rooting, they're not eating. So they're doing the business, and then when they finish doing their thing, that's when they start. Have you ever had
I was waiting for it.
I mean, I like if I've just had some hot action, I might have like a
get
pizza.
a bit hungry afterwards, yeah.
Or have a hot dog while I'm having sex.
A hot dog. I don't know if that's my choice of food. I don't know if I'm going for something
quiche.
the shape of that.
What do you mean by that? You like a bit of sausage when you're having sex.
Eating it.
You gotta mix it up a bit. You gotta mix it up.
Anyway, the mulloway are down there doing their thing, right? So that's typically end of September, October, early November. Oh, what was that?
What?
Oh, I just farted.
We're going to have to pause there. We need that.
Oh.
Overheat or what?
I don't know, but I'm busted.
Go for it.
Hey, mate.
Can I hit those pine trees?
No, just go in.
I don't want to frighten anyone.
No, you'll be right.
Ah, what happened there? We're just hitting them. I'll tell you what. I settled back into this. There's a spring that was going right up my ass. I could find that position.
Sorry.
There we go.
Okay, technical difficulty.
We
there.
got that.
Sorry,
We put
people,
that
the
spring there for you.
light switched off. But we were talking about Mulloway and where they're hanging out. So, yeah, deeper reaches. They're spawning around that October, November time, and then they're moving upriver. So I actually went the night of the fall drive show, Lec, with Owen. Took Owen Douglas out.
How'd you go?
We got one flatty. I found it, saw a heap of Mulloway, but couldn't get them to eat. So there was lots around sort of that Maylands area. I reckon right now, if I was heading out, I'd be looking around sort of that Garra Road Bridge area, probably a kilometre either side upriver, and then possibly up to sort of Ron Courtney and then even round to Guildford.
Plenty of bait and bonies.
Yeah,
I think so the mix of salt water and the fresh still coming down. Because there's still a fair bit of fresh coming down because we had a pretty good season.
Yeah.
But the Mulloway probably sitting down deep under all that.
Yeah, in the holes and around bridge pylons and the eddies and that sort of thing. So what Goatman just said, the bait, that's the key. So finding the bonies, that's it's going to sound crazy, but I said this to you the other day, when we were watching the bonies swim at the Ivanhoe the other day. But when you're out in the water at night time, typically that's sort of when the mullies are crashing up bait. Like they don't like boat noise, and I think it's when it's quiet they're a lot more active.
Yeah.
But you can literally smell them, I think. I might be tripping out here, but
Mulloway have got a smell.
I think
that
the
bonies getting smashed.
Yeah, you can almost smell them getting, the scales and whatnot. You can often see them floating in the water. You can tell that the Mulloway have been there. Another thing that I've started to notice recently is whenever there's pelicans around, it usually means that there's bonies as well because they're following the bait too. So if there's pelicans around, that's sign number one. Bait, sign number two.
Pelicans at the Ivanhoe. Bait.
Yeah.
And same as the dam wall.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'd be looking for bait first and foremost, and then any choke points around the river, deeper areas, that sort of thing.
You know how you say you can smell them? Like a good little tip as well that someone told me ages ago is you'll see the oil slicks of all the bait getting smashed.
Yeah.
So like same thing in the river, if there's tailor and they're feeding, they'll be smashing the little bait fish and then you'll get the oil slicks on top.
Have you seen the slicks off Scarborough at the moment with the scalies?
Nah.
There's miles and miles of these oil slicks, and you think some of them are associated with whales, but it's a bit late now. But when they're all boiling on the top, they're eating all the plankton, they leave an oil slick. Not too sure how much oil exudes from them, but yeah, when they're all rubbing against each other and feeding.
Yep.
But definitely in the river, I used to associate the narrows and probably some of the pinch points, like you're saying. If you get there at the right time of the tide, you got your pelicans, your shags, your terns, everything is there.
Bring that mic a bit close to you, Goatman.
And it's
there we go. Down, so the camera can see you.
Oh, that's better.
Let's see your ugly head.
Pretty ugly. So the birds are there because the fish are pushing them all up. So you got tailor, brim, Mulloway, probably a few giant herring, grunter. Everything's there, and they're pushing everything to the top. So I've noticed that you'd normally associate going Mulloway fishing, say with lures or whatever, after dark. But if you can get the right time of the tide as it's pushing in past those pinch points, that's when I've done my best, and just probably the sunset just after that, because as it widens out in the river, schools disperse, the birds sort of go to sleep, and but then the Mulloway come back and they're like hanging around those pinch points like the pylons and things.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like as the tide slows and what Goatman just said, the bait disperses. If you think about that, it's easier for a Mulloway to probably hunt down a singular bait fish, the weak one or whatever. That's kind of my thinking when the tide slows. I think we spoke about it on the Scotty Coughlin episode. That's sort of my theory anyway. But I know a lot of lads at the moment are getting them on glide baits too, which is sick.
I was going to ask you about lure choice. So if someone, because there's a lot of people that will be looking to mix it up as well.
Yep.
Intro into give us some tips into rigs, Goatman, whether bait rigs and Rothy. What sort of lures are you picking?
Or to start with, I'd definitely go a paddle tail. You like mull away that lateral line that goes down the flank of the fish. They're really sensitive to vibration, similar to what a barramundi would be like. So this lure that I got right here. This is actually the one that I caught my first barra on yesterday, which we'll recap in a bit. But that paddle tail basically gives this lure a real wobble, and there's a bit of vibration going through the water.
Have you been sleeping with that under your pillow?
Yeah, I actually pierced my own lip with it. I've been sleeping with it, but
how good.
Yeah, so a paddle tail like that. I mean, I don't really like the pre-rigged ones. We went for this yesterday just because the water was flowing so heavy up north. It's a bit different, but lightly weighted as possible. I like that fall. Another really easy lure to use is a vibe. So Samaki Vibalicious is one of my favorite lures. Xeric fish traps, caught quite a few mulloway on them. And I sort of, this time of year, if I'm going upriver, I'm probably downsizing my lures a little bit.
Match the bait.
Yeah, just for those smaller bonies. And I think the vibes, in particular, the Samaki ones, do a really good job of matching the hatch there. They look a lot like a bony. But what really has my interest and what a lot of guys have been doing lately, I haven't actually caught a mulloway on a hard body yet myself, but guys are throwing duo tide minnows. They're like a really long,
a mullet profile.
No, they're not a mullet guy. They're kind of like a garfish, if anything. They're super long. They're like 130 mil lure, quite thin and slender. And they've got a small bib on them. They probably dive to about a metre maximum. Yep. Guys what I'm hearing is dudes are getting them on the paws. So they're throwing those out there. Chris Dixon did really well on that particular lure.
And they're almost buffing them.
They're smashing them on the paws. But the one that I reckon is really cool. So there's a guy down south in Albany, Instagram, Southern Surfcaster, Liam Morrow, Cal Robbins. There's a bunch of there's another guy, Dan's Fishing Southwest on Instagram, whatever. Those guys are getting them on glide baits, which is sick.
So it's hitting it, probably the Calgan.
Yeah, so he's down in the Calgan, but in the Swan, these boys have gone out and they've cracked the code for getting them on glide baits. And I'm sure there's some underground mully fisher that's done it before. I know Sam Smith is a good mate of mine has got them on glide baits before, but these guys seem to be they're putting in hours and hours and hours, tens of thousands of casts, but they've got them pretty dialed and they're getting them pretty consistently. So that's really got my interest this summer. I actually bought a bony swim bait from a bass company called 6 Cents Fishing in Texas. Looks perfect, look like a bony. So with these bait casters that we got now, I'll be giving them a good crack this summer. So that's how I'd go about it for sure.
That's the go. Bonies, mate. I'm feeling good about bonies.
I'm sure you are.
Story about that a bit
Everyone
later.
loves a bony.
But before we move on, Goatman, I want to talk to you. You brought something in here that I could see at my feet down here. Hunting. Have you been doing any hunting before you hurt your shoulder?
I've done a fair bit of hunting, actually.
I'll grab it. You wait there.
Due to my injury.
It's like a little Pumbaa skull.
It's a probably about a skull of a.
Have a look at that.
It's got a bit of jewelry too.
Yeah. How's the earring on it?
So I was out hunting in Gidgee up one night, doing the full moon thing. I had a laser sight on my bow and I specialised in hunting these pigs on the full moon. And this guy here was entertaining a couple of sows. And the absence of a bigger boar, he was strutting his stuff, trying to like get a little bit jiggy with him. Anyway, I lined him up with the laser pointer.
Trying to have perfectly. A hot dog.
Well, yeah, he was trying to have a hot dog or maybe a turkey sandwich.
So run us through how the laser pointer works on the bow.
Well, it's I couldn't find anything that was commercially made. So I went to Dick Smith and I bought these $20 laser pointer and they just had like a clicker button, like you'd use like a firelighter, like one of those click things. Anyway, so I had this clicker on it. I thought, shit, this isn't going to work. So
why? Because of the sound?
No, it's just because when you're drawing the bow and whatnot, you had to position the laser pointer near the bridge of the bow where you could sight it up.
Yeah.
So I had to use elastic bands to hold the button down. So I used like 2 of those red lackey bands you used to get on the newspaper.
Oh, so it wasn't click on and click off.
Yeah, it was just a permanently hold down thing. It was $20. Absolute piece of rubbish, but worked like a treat. Made an aluminium bracket, and I mucked around for hours making this thing and shimmed it out, shooting in my backyard under the full moon, and I got this thing shooting perfectly.
So you've just jimmied it up so that it's a laser and it's shooting exactly where you want it. You've made it yourself.
And because you're shooting at night under the full moon, I was shooting with both eyes open, so I could get that, your binocular and the focus on there. So I lined this guy up here, and I'd taken probably 300 pigs at this stage. This guy here, he was on this dam. He was entertaining some sows, and I darted this guy. I thought, geez, he's dropped quickly.
Turn that skull around so the camera can see. So that is an arrow.
That's a broadhead.
Headshot, mate.
The old school black stump. And that has gone through the back of his very spine, attaches just inside his cranium. And it has given him an instant lobotomy. And this guy dropped like he was electrocuted.
Straight away, hey?
And yeah, he got turned into snaggers. And
you ate him?
Yeah. But very in good nick. So middle of winter, this guy was in primo condition. But with the laser pointer, probably some of the spots up in the hills would have taken maybe upwards of 400 pigs. And, as a resource for food, like you're talking about diversifying.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with eating wild pigs and goats.
Yeah. Well,
and
deer. The deer are mine. I got a couple of fallow recently, and they're my favourite. Like in terms of wild game, I don't think you can beat fallow deer, particularly in WA.
It's not a gamey meat, but it's absolutely beautiful. There's no fat.
Yep.
Beautiful flavour.
We actually butchered it. So Nath helped us butcher this fallow, and we just butchered one whole side of it and boned it all out. And I've got this big Argentinian grill. And yeah, when the weather's not as hot, I'm going to do like a proper fire and just like barbecue this whole one side of it.
Wait, I'll wait for my invite.
Yeah, you'll be there, mate. We'll get you there. We'll need a few people to polish it
I'll
off.
bring the rolls.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. But
that's a pretty impressive shot.
Well, I was probably actually aiming for its.
Yeah, don't tell me you meant to.
But when like I was up there by myself, middle of the night, full moon, and these pigs are like going crazy around this dam.
And they cause that much damage up there as well.
But the excitement and I don't know, it's just the adrenaline rush. Might have pulled the shot a bit and given them a lobotomy. So
yeah,
win-win situation.
Mate, that looks wicked. That'll look wicked up on the shelf, bloody at home as well.
Well, I got my first foray into hunting on this trip just gone, Lex. So I reckon a lot of people are going to be here listening to this episode for the recap. So I reckon we get into recapping our Pentecost trip with Birchy, who we had on last episode. So in between that episode and now, guys, we have just gotten back from the most incredible trip that I've ever been on, probably ever, let alone a fishing trip. Not the best fishing, but what an adventure, like amazing.
Had you been to the Kimberley's before?
Never. No.
It's such an eye opener. It's like you've stepped off onto another planet because everything's chilled, the people are chilled, but the environment is harsh.
Yeah. It's humbling. That's probably the word that I would use, is it humbles you. Gives you a real good ego check, doesn't it?
100%. Yeah. And on this trip, we got a bit of everything. So like you go there, you hope for the highest of highs. You hope for good fishing. I think we had the convo with Scotty Coughlin as well. Like the Kimberley, when it's going off and it's fishing well, is fucking unreal. But when it's dead, it is the worst.
It's painful, isn't it?
It is super painful. And we cop some of the most painful fishing you will ever get. So like we were made to earn everything we got on this trip. And the trouble is when we booked it, I sort of asked Birchy back end of November, we want to come up, do the annual boys trip, the King of the Pentecost, and pick us the best tides. And this year he picked us, I think we went from the 26th of November to the 1st. And the concern with that is you're always going to be, it's the build up and the start of the wet.
Yeah.
So I was slightly worried about, getting a bit of rain. because I've seen it on our trips earlier in previous years. And this year, everything was looking amazing. Tides are great. But about 3 or 4 days before we were due to leave, Cyclone Fina, is it?
Yeah.
I think it was Fina, was coming through Darwin. And it was like, oh, fuck, here we go. And it was heading west. So the concern was that it was going to hit Kununurra and it was going to completely wipe out our trip. The beauty was is it sort of headed north of Kununurra and missed it, but
it sucked in the weather with it, didn't it?
Yeah, it smashed the Berkeley River Lodge, wiped that out. So I don't know where they'll be at in the next.
Heart goes out to those guys too.
Apparently there was a couple of caretakers there that had to go underground and ride it out like 250 km/h winds. So we were coming in behind that, and the rainfall from then is the worry, because up in the Kimberly, if you don't know much about it, is the town or where you are doesn't directly need to be hit by the rain, because everything comes off the floodplains and everything.
Catchment,
everything has different catchments up there.
A point there, that was amazing to see was we crossed the King River and the Pentecost.
Yep.
They were both flowing in different directions because they got different.
And they're only about 20 k's away.
Yeah, they're parallel to each other, really, aren't they?
Yeah, well, the King and the Pentecost, where you go to Wyndham, which we actually did, you can stand up on the lookout with the five river lookout up there. And I think it's the King, the Pentecost, the Durack, the Ord. There's one other. I'm not sure if it's the Forest or the Wilson or something else like that.
All goes into the Gulf there.
It all goes into the Gulf.
Yeah.
But the King and the Pentecost are probably only, like you said, parallel and only about 20 or 30 k's apart. One's near El Questro, the other one's near Home Valley Station. And they were our two biggest worries. So
one flows off the Coburn Ranges, and then there's a catchment for the King, isn't there?
Yeah. So I think the Pentecost River, the catchment for that is all like Fitzroy Halls Creek. And then the King is all of the Kununurra stuff. So this trip, we were trying to head out to Home Valley Station, and from Kununurra, you need to cross both of those rivers. And when we got in there, due to that cyclone, they were both up. So our first day.
It was piercing when we flew in too. Like, it was 120 mil of rain, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What's a typical day in Perth for people that live down here? Like, if you get 10 mil of rain, that's gnarly, right?
Probably 20 mil.
Yeah, there you go. So 120 mil of rain in 48 hours or something like that. That's a shit load of rain.
I think they like I was talking to you before, they've got 4 different sorts of rain, and the last one is knock them down, and that flattens out the summer grass and lays everything flat, and it's big fat drops.
Yep. Well, and what you're hearing right now is our lead into our excuses, as to why we didn't catch many fish. But so we had to change our plans on that first day.
Don't tune out for that though, because there are some stories coming your way. Just because we didn't catch that many fish far out, we had a wicked time.
So we had the boats up there, so we did have another option. So we ended up fishing our first day out of Wyndham, which we're all super excited about. Never been there before and fished. So we took the boats out of there. We took the boats out, but I had the active target put on the like the sonar put on the fish trap for this one.
Sonar.
So we were sort of messing around with that, but it was completely dead. Like the boys were trying to get live bait in at Parry's.
Too much water.
Yeah, and I think all that rain was a little bit cooler as well, so it sort of cooled everything down. But they struggled to get live bait. We were sort of set up messing around on the boat and just casting lures on all the little drains. Didn't know too much about it, but there was one other boat there as well, Boyo and Ryan.
Yeah, legends. Good to meet those boys too.
Yeah, Birchy's mates. They were the only ones to get a barra that day.
Yeah, only a little one too. But like our confidence was high. Like my first time up in the Kimberly, first time catching barra. I was pumped. You were pumped. We were on the way to that creek just frothing out, had the music blaring. And then we got up that creek, and Birchy sent it pretty far up that creek too. But one thing that really got my confidence high was when we were fanging it up the middle of that river, I was sort of at the side of your center console, and Reese and I both saw a Barrett jump in front of the boat. So we were like, we are on here, like Barra here, let's go. Got up the end and we got that loaf sonar in, and I'm pretty sharp with the side scan too, so I know my way around that, and hardly saw a fish.
Could have been the sound system. You didn't have any strippers on board, did you?
Oh, God. So Goat's referring to that prank call. We won't go into that, but oh, goodness me. Go back and listen to that.
You should
one,
have
'cause it's a
rafted up
crack
and got some the
boombox and some rippers.
boombox having.
Yeah.
So
and anyway, that sort of shut us down. There's not really much to talk about that first day because we just really struggled. The bearing on the trailer.
Yeah, just at the boat ramp as we're about to launch, Lex trailer bearing went. So
nothing worse.
That. So there's always going to.
I picked it up when it was hot, burnt the tips of my fingers. But yeah, that day the fishing wasn't too hot. Saw a couple of crocs. One thing that was probably the highlight of that day was when we were pulled up next to each other on that little creek system where I took the drone photos. And because we had the live target, Birchy and the boys on his boat had a bucket full of bait. And I don't think they would give us any bait.
Were they potties or
yeah, just potty
cherubim?
mullet. Yeah, potty mullet. And we could actually see their baits on the bottom of the water, but because we didn't have any
on
bait.
the sounder?
Yeah, on the live sonar.
Oh,
so we were just going, okay, there's their bait. And Reese from Westerberg, Reese Jones, a mate of ours that was on the trip with us, he's seen that bait on the live sonar and been cheeky, and he's gone, oh, I'm going to hook that fucking bait, get a bait off him. So he's managed to hook one of Birchy's 10 handlines that he had out and drag that bait up on board. So we had one bait between us for the day, but fortunately wasn't enough to convert a fish.
I think like you're saying, the runoff, like normally this time of year, you've got a lot of building temperatures and the Barramundi, everything ramps up towards that.
Yep.
But with that influx of cold rain, they probably won't spawn until, maybe another month or 2 months away.
It definitely changed things. And you'd be like, I would have been stressed if there was other people catching fish. But that even Ryan, he hung around and fished Wyndham a couple of days later, and same thing. He said that he got nothing, and there was multiple boats that head out as well, and everyone was struggling. So it was automatically
These are locals that know what they're doing.
Yeah, so we automatically went to all right. We need to reset our thought process around how good the fishing's going to be.
Yeah,
but from there we were heading to Home Valley Station because we were just going to back in, getting across those rivers, and always have a bit more confidence when we're going to where Birchy fishes a lot. But I could tell in his demeanour that he wasn't overly confident with the rains that had come through.
Yeah, he wasn't talking it up. He wasn't being the larrikin Birchy that we know. He was still happy-go-lucky, but I think he was just more stoked to have us there more than anything. It
100%.
wasn't really.
I had a similar. I went up the first time I went to the Northern Territory, and we were up there hunting buffalo and pigs. The guys there were hunting the Barramundi around the culvert drains.
Yeah.
And we're talking hundreds and hundreds of kilometres away from the sea. The first bit of runoff they get for the rain, the cyclone came through, and they've got Barramundi, and they're dangling the lures in front of a 300 mil bit of concrete. And the Barramundi are hitting them, and there are fish everywhere. So the Barramundi, as soon as that rain comes, they're heading straight inland, any fresh water, billabongs, they spawn, and then they all bugger off.
Yep.
So yeah, it's an amazing fishery, and if you can tap into that, you could drive. You go like you're on the coastal stretch near Wyndham. You could drive like 200 k's inland, and the fish you're targeting will be there.
It's funny that you say that because Broome was fucking going off. So
was it really?
Everyone in Broome was catching like shitloads of big barra. So they obviously, the cyclone went over us. What are they?
They picked up on that
700, 800, 900
the pressure
Ks.
system, and they're going on.
Mate, so Owen Douglas cleaned up. They had a night where him and a mate got a metre 10, a metre 7, 96, 98, 89, and a couple of 60s all in one night. So, and heaps of locals were catching fish. So, that was hurting as well to hear a bit about that. But anyway, we did make it to across the King and the Pentecost after a little bit of like nerves that night. We had to cross it at night.
How quick the King went down too. So we rocked up, and Reese, fellow that we were with, he's got a big Ram. He's pretty proud of his new car. I would be too with a car like that. Doesn't have a snorkel on it. So he couldn't cross that river. And and I think it was sitting at about 1.3, 1.
No, it was just over a metre when we rocked up.
Oh, 1.2 when we were coming back.
Yep.
Right, so it was over a metre, and that was kind of right in line of where his air intake was.
Ooh.
So we put a rock sort of where the water line was. And within an hour, it had gone down probably, 200 mil or something?
A couple of feet from the side of the bank.
Yeah. So we were able to cross, which was really cool. But driving in there, that was amazing because first time experiencing it.
She drains pretty quick, the Kimberly.
Yeah. So I'm looking out the windows. There's a bit of lightning. I'm seeing the ranges and stuff like that. But as we pulled in a Home Valley station, I had my window down. And I said to Reese, I was like, wait, can you stop the car? Like, turn the car off. I want to just hear this for a second. And the sound that was coming from the bush was amazing. It just insects, frogs, like birds. It was incredible. It was honestly like a sound effect from a movie. I actually made a recording on my phone. Pretty incredible. But we roll in, I hop out the car, and I'm greeted by Nath with a freshwater croc in his hand. He's jumped out of the car, chased his croc down. It's bit him on the hand, and he's holding it and trying to. Reese is a bit scared of reptiles, isn't he?
Well, I think he just doesn't trust us. But yeah, Nate
more scared of us.
Yeah, Nate will grab anything. So like snakes, goannas, whatever. And as we were driving across like through the gates, there was just little freshie. And anyway, he gave it to Rothy, and Rothy walked around with this fucking freshwater crocodile for probably a good hour and a half. It was like his pet. It was like, mate, you can't sleep with that thing. We put a bit of lacquey over its snout so it wouldn't bite him. And I don't know if he was who you were sending photos with, but he's walking around. You want to see my croc? And he's holding it. Couple of croc
my
shots.
12-inch croc.
Yeah. So I mean that like this is the thing that you find with these trips, right? We're there for the fishing, but it's all these other moments that happen throughout the trip that you walk away and you're like, oh, how good was that? Or how good was that? And it's all these moments, but at the time you're sort of like, it sort of seems normal up there.
Yeah.
But it's not normal.
It's
when
not
you come
normal
back
at all. I took that little thing into my room too, kind of try to do a bit of a mirror selfie with
We
him.
don't want to hear about what you did with that crocodile.
But I took a photo and I put him in the sink, just like put him down for a second. And the little fucker he was so quick. He got out of the sink and ran around my room for about 10 minutes before I could catch him. Managed to catch him again, let him go on the floor. He still had the lacquey band around his snout. So I didn't want to let him get away with that lacquey because he wouldn't have been able to eat. Lucky Nath saw. Out comes Nath, just hip and shouldered me out the way. He caught that thing like that so quick. Yeah, really cool. Ended up letting him go in the creek out the back, which was epic. So cool first night.
I've caught a couple of bigger ones up
of course you have.
up in put a couple in the Kimberleys, but up in Cape York.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Up on the Mitchell River. Oh my God. We're like just finished hunting some pigs and we went down for a bit of a swim and wash off. And there's this bloody freshwater croc, would have been about, I reckon, 2.5 meters long.
No way. Well, can I just add, that little croc was
so probably strong.
Yeah, he was probably about 40, 50 centimeters long, maybe, from nose to tail. Far out, he was strong. Like every time he whack his tail into my arm, you felt it.
It's like when you get one of those sharks.
Yeah,
and they're just contorting.
Great comparison.
Yeah. But the strength of them, and it, like you think a cold-blooded animal, you're not going to get that sort of power. But I've seen that with bung arrows and whatnot. We used to catch up on the drilling rigs.
Yep.
And those things are so strong.
I always wanted to pick them up, but I'm scared they'll bite hard, eh?
Oh, you just got to go for it.
Go the neck, eh?
Well, you got to.
But
the thing is, you got to grab them by the tail, just near their ass and their head.
Yep.
Otherwise, they reach around, they grab you, and there's no getting those claws out.
Yeah, right.
How'd you go with the croc though?
Good. It was like a bit of a jumped on him, grabbed him by the snout and the head, and then he just went ape shit. And there was like, you don't realise it's like a shag, how sharp their claws are. On the end of a crocodile's webbed feet have got these things. They can climb up rocks.
Yeah.
And those things like cat's claws open me up like a Christmas present. So I had some scratches that lasted me for probably about 3 months, I reckon, before they healed over.
Yeah, all the bacteria and stuff.
But the bung arrow bites are the one.
Yep.
You don't want to get bitten by those.
Well,
Nath got bit too. The funny thing with that was we didn't have a lot of reception. So Nath took a photo of the croc in his hand with the blood on his wrist, sent it to his missus Stacey, and just all he wrote was croc attack. And the message went through, but the picture didn't. So she apparently was stressing for hours, trying to call him, thinking Nath had just been attacked. But it was just like a couple of little cuts. He had a tiny little tooth in his wrist. But
and meanwhile, you get the croc attack at the with the pole dancing thing and broom.
Yeah.
God. Day two.
Yeah. So day two, we woke up feeling fairly confident, having a crack at getting onto some barra, because at this point we're all on donuts. And anyway, we headed down to the Pentecost, but what we had to do is launch the boats first. And because the water was pumping, for some reason, Birchy wanted us to launch at the crossing.
Which, by the way, the night before when we crossed, Birchy pulls out his flashlight. So I'm getting the full tourist experience. Birchy's like my personal tour guide. He whips out this
red eyes.
He whips out this spotlight and goes, "Hey, Ruddy, have a look in the river. All these red dots, they're all crocs." There was dead set, probably about 50 crocs at this fucking river crossing.
Yeah, amazing.
And then he goes, "Oh, just go and launch the boat there." So Lecca and I launched the boat. And
how big was the boat?
It's like the boat, the fish trap.
Pelican.
The
5
fish
meters,
trap.
yeah, the seagull.
What, off Ivanhoe?
No, not Ivanhoe, at the Pentecost River crossing.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so that was flowing. So and anyway, Birchy's gone in first and launched his boat, but
which is a 4.5 meter tinny.
Yes, and Birchy's got the 80 series, so he'll back that thing right in. So he backed it in, got the boys off. They float down the river. Reese has got the fish trap on the back of the ram, so he doesn't want to go in too far. And if you've seen the crossing, there's a bit of a rock bar there. So anyway, this is our wood duck moment, and this is the key of what you call a wood duck is when they fuck up a boat launch or a retrieve.
That is the pinnacle of wood duckery.
It's who's this wood duck, not from town. And the funny part was main roads were on the other side of the river, sort of looking at us going, what are these blokes doing? Reese has backed us into the fish trap, not far enough in. It's
not Reese's fault.
It's Reese's fault. The flows, like the river the runoff has got us and just thrown us straight into the rock bar.
Oh,
so immediately
so you're pinned.
The boat's pinned and it's like almost tipping. So all the crocs, everything that are there, we had to jump overboard and spin this. I probably did like 360s and try to get out of the way of it.
You felt like a wildebeest.
Oh, mate. And I was just hearing the rocks grind on the hull.
Yeah, both at the back pushing, like trying to make it quick.
Nah, that's
so anyway,
don't try this at home.
It's
not good. Not good.
A lot of this trip was don't try this at home. So we got in there, tried fishing the top pool, ferried a couple of guests that were coming over, Birchy's family and that back and forth. To get to Home Valley, they had to leave their cars over because of the water level. And then we wanted to move from one pool of the Pentecost to the next. And if you've ever been there, about a K up the river is another set of rapids.
Big rock bar, yeah.
Yeah, and
it looked like it had almost breaking waves on it, but Lec was determined.
I think it's called Deliverance.
Oh, yeah. God.
Well, I knew that the better fishing was on the other side of that rock bar.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to pull the boat back out at the crossing. So I was like, and Reese built the boat. He was with us. He was like, yeah, you boys will get through there. You'll be right.
Boat.
Yeah, not my boat. You guys will be right. Go for it. We dropped him back at the car.
Props?
He was quick to get back off at the car though. He said, I'll meet you back around there with the trailer. So anyway, it was like, Rothy, we're just going to pick the middle line here and fucking send it. All right.
So Luke, Nath, I think it was just Luke and Nath were in the tinny. They'd already crossed that bar. They'd got hung up.
We didn't know.
Small draft. We couldn't really hear them or anything. This river's flowing. It's loud. They're already over on the other side and they're shouting at us, but I'm kind of like pointing right or left, like hoping that they'll give us a signal on which way they went. But they were kind of just like,
they're waving their arms
like
pelicans.
It looked like, from what we were interpreting, it was like, back, come on through, boys.
Yeah, send it, go. So Lec's like, all right, I've picked the line. Here we go. So I've thought, you know what, I'm going to be a good decky. I'm going to go up the front. I'm going to try and see if I can, spot any big rocks or spots that I might think there's a bit of water coming up in an upwelling or whatever. Thank God we had that dodgy live scope pole up the front, because as soon as I got up the front to peek my head over, bang, we've just hit this rock and I've gone flying probably about 1 meter. And I reckon I just grabbed the tip. Like I was holding on to this live scope pole like this. I wasn't gripped on it. I was like holding it like that. and I've gone looped around it. My legs come out the side. I've whipped it over.
And at the same time, I've knocked it in reverse as well. So it's like going, because we hit it and no shit, it was as close to someone falling off the side.
Did you film this?
I literally just had the drone up in the air. I had a Sony camera, one of the podcast cameras that we're filming on now. I had a Sony camera mounted on the bar work with a clamp, and I had a GoPro around my neck. None of them were fucking filming.
That shows how nervous we were probably going into it.
We weren't thinking about the filming or anything like that. And
you're just on survival. You're on survival.
Yeah, the filming wasn't a priority for this trip. It was like, if we get some cool footage that we can share, whatever. But man, we did about. I reckon we got hung up though on that rock, and it was like we turned sideways. And the boat gave a bit of a tip, and so it was flooding, but it was like we can't move.
If you dig in and it starts taking
that's
in
what
water,
I was worried about. So it literally trimmed everything up, and it was like before we went down, when we first checked it, there was a big crocodile sitting at the river, and it was like, well, fuck, we've got to jump over.
We have to. We had no choice. That tinny wasn't going to pull us out.
So we jumped. Same thing. Jumped over. Had to pull the nose around, but it was like when the nose kicks and hits the water, Rothy, it's going to grip. So
and take
don't
off.
go backwards. You got to jump on the boat. So same thing. Did that. Then same thing happened again. Another rock. So we had to literally get out and do about 4 360s on the boat.
We were like a pinball in a pinball machine, just going doing.
It was like the Avon descent.
Off everything.
The Pentecost descent.
Everything you don't want to be doing in crocodile country.
Yeah, it was exactly. It was the Pentecost descent. It was like the Avon, and I was worried about transducers, everything. But anyway, we get through.
We bent the transducer up. We had to bend that.
You guys would have been like the crocodile peep show.
Wood ducks,
mate. We were the biggest wood ducks
and
ever.
Then
but
it was funny because we'd get through. Once we floated through, we drove over to Nathan and Luke, and it was like, did you guys just get through the middle? And they're like, no, exact same thing happened to us. We were just like, fuck it, they need to get in here.
Yeah, so
that's hectic.
It was wicked though.
We got through, had a good laugh. Lec was like, see, mate, that's what these trips are all about. This is the stuff that we're going to remember. So anyway, we're through. It looked a little bit fishier. There was some sort of rock bars with mangroves and stuff like that poking up through. There was a few eddies that I thought, yeah, we might have some fish. So this is our first foray into live scoping as well. So put the live scope transducer down the front of the boat.
You still got the peace of mind to chuck that over after all this shit's going on.
Yeah, well,
hats off to you, mate.
The pole that Reese built is sturdy. It definitely held the weight. It didn't bend too bad, but had that in, and we're kind of looking at this live scope screen. And I'll be honest, like I didn't want to burst Lec and Reese's bubble, but they were looking at pretty much what I think is nothing on the screen. Like there was maybe mullet, catfish, or something. Well,
it was hard to tell the size of the fish, and there was no big fish in there.
Yeah,
so it was like, what do we do?
I've done a little bit of a deep dive onto that live scope. Watched other really talented, gifted fishermen fishing with that live scope in the exact same unit, and the reads that they get when they see a big barra, like you cannot mistake them for anything else.
Yeah.
And sort of the same thing with my side scan too in the river with a mulloway. They're a similar size fish to a barramundi.
And almost the same, like not the swim bladder, but same.
Yeah,
same.
Well, side scan, it's not like 2D sonar where you see an arch. You actually see a perfect outline of a mulloway when in the river. And I thought the same thing would happen with barramundi, and I just wasn't seeing that. So I wasn't overly confident, but at the end of the day, we're there to learn. We're not the best fishermen.
The river was dead. Even when we jumped out and tried to get live bait, the mullet you were getting were only those tiny little mullet.
Yeah.
It was like
and they were in shallow.
They probably weren't even potties, were they?
Nah.
So
they were tiny, mate.
Yeah.
So it was like I said, the fresh water had come through and absolutely fucked the system. So that day we ended up bleeding.
So you were trying to get bait, but me being me, I'm a lure fisherman through and through. That's my first thing I'm pulling out of the bag is a lure at all times. I was flicking the whole time. I did not stop casting. I threw everything from the panic station mullets, diver bait, junkie minnows, like everything I had, carios from Irukandji, everything. Nothing got hit. I threw everything from 90 mil up to 150, close to 200 mil lures. No joy. So, yeah, unfortunately, not to say water. Somebody like John O'Ellis or Shane Compain wouldn't pull out a fish from there. Those guys that really know those areas. But
so you had did you check out the water temp?
Yeah, the water temp was still at 30.
Really?
No, what was it? It was up around 30 still, but I don't know. It was that cold layer and the way it was flowing, and it was like a brown, dirty muddy
So you got
bath
Super
water.
The
dirty.
super dirty stuff on the top and the deeper layers probably.
Yeah, but like Rothy said, even the side scan, we were picking nothing up. So some days, and Barramundi and most fish, like even mulloway and that, they're temperamental, and there'll be days where they're just off the bite. So
Yeah.
we copped that day. The next day was different. We had a small window the next day. So
And it probably got better, day after day, but
As
you
the river
probably
was
ran
dropping.
out of time. But
well, it's funny, the run out of time thing is a good sort of segue into how our trip finished. But we woke up the next day. There was no rush to get out fishing because of the way things had gone. So Birchy wanted to change the transfer case on his 80 series. So I sort of hung back and helped him do that. The other boys went off trying to get live bait at all the usual spots as well and have a fish, but same thing, couldn't get any bait. So when we finished the transfer case, Birchy took us to a little place called Bait Hole, which holds a fair bit of live bait. And we went back to the Pentecost, and it looked completely different the next day.
Yeah, it was calm. The water wasn't flowing as hard. I think it was a little bit
dropped
cleaner.
dropped about half of its flow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
And a lot more bait too. I was seeing a lot of, those little sort of splashes on the surface that you see, the ripples when there's bait around. And I think I was picking up bonies. Hey, that's what I was.
Yeah,
Is
I
that what
reckon.
they call them up there? They bonies?
they call them
They
bony.
look like bonies.
Birchy was calling them bony brim.
Yeah.
Bony herring, whatever they
Well,
are.
they look
up
about
there.
the size of what, like if we're talking Swan River, for those of you guys that know, you'll know a bony is, a good perfect size bony is probably 100 mil.
Yeah.
These things were like a good size black brim size bony. They were
Could have
like
been- could have
30
been sooty.
centimeters. They were
Sooty grunters.
No, they weren't sooties.
Big
They were
silver,
big.
big
Yeah, they were-
pointy tail, big bony. I always called them bony herring, but
Might have even been tarpon.
they weren't.
No?
It wasn't.
no, they were bonies anyway.
Yeah. And anyway, so at Bait Hole, we got one in the live in the throw net.
Yep.
The boys went out on the boat, and at this point, I was sort of giving up to it. I was like, "Oh, we're gonna donut. We only got one more day here. It's not that sort of trip. We did a bit of shooting. Got a cow and all the rest of it. And anyway, I pulled up with Luke to this spot, and the boys. It was you, Reese, and Nath were out on the fish trap. I was like, "You boys go out. I'm sort of just going to chill."
Yeah.
Pulled up, and then Birchy's wife, Janelle, had just pulled in about a 75 centimetre barra on the handline. And this is at the same spot that I've spoke about on this podcast before, where my young fella got his 80 centimetre barra casting the popper around.
Yep.
So I love this spot. Nice, high, grassy bank. Anyway.
We were actually,
Bit of history.
this is where my confidence sort of kicked in with what the live scope, because I think Reese was up the front. He was dialed in. Like he kind of had it going. He's like, "Oh, there's a fish there." And I looked at the screen. I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're right. That's actually a fish." So we went to pull in and just kind of check on you guys, see what was happening. And you called out like, "Wait, I've got a bunch of hand lines set up. Janelle's just got a barra. Pull up, like let's go, let's fish." So we were kind of running across the front of you guys, and there was a little rock out the front. Anyway, I think it was Luke or you called out, "Oh, you're about to."
Yeah,
Was
I
it
was
you?
like, "Oh, yeah, but our lines are
you're-
there, the lines are
You're
there."
about to run over our boat. So anyway, Reese knows your boat better than me. Obviously, he built it. He can control that thing better than I can. So
Yeah.
he's at the wheel at this point. I'm up the front, and I've pointed the live scope to the right. And my memory's a bit blurry, but I'm sure that I saw what looked like a grain of rice on the screen, and the surrounding was quite clear. It looked to me like it was a good fish. And at that point, you were kind of like, "Oh, you're about to run over our hand line." So Reese has reversed up. As we've pulled on the bank, Birchy goes, "Oi, get that cunt. It's
No.
fucking spinning." Was it,
No, it was
that
Nath.
that point? Was it
It
no?
was Nathan who was on the boat. So these boys have gone to come in and park up right in front of us.
And
I was
then
like, "Boys, I've
Birchy
just
skids out after that.
I've
going, "Oi,
just
get
thrown
the
a
hooks
live
in
bait
that
out
thing."
there." Oh, not a livey. I was like,
Yeah,
"Boys,
chunk
our hand lines are there. Head up that way. And then Nath goes, "That one's running." And I looked over, and it was the hand line that I'd just thrown out.
The red one you got
right
here.
here.
Yeah.
So I had this sitting on the bank, and I had just thrown out a chunk bait of one of those bony herring, and I looked over because Birchy and Janelle had a few handlines out, and I was like, yes, it's mine.
I remember Birchy losing it.
Yeah,
Going,
Birchy's run over, and then he was like, get the car. And so you could tell it was a barra the way it was running, like it was peeling off.
What's this?
Yeah.
He'll get to that. He'll get to that.
So
Birchy was he goes, that's a metre. That's a metre. And at this point we were kind of like, so this is all in the space of like 10 seconds.
yeah.
We were all kind of like, oh, is it? And I think even you were a little bit unsure.
So I've set the hooks, and as soon as I set the hook, I got that splash on the surface. So I knew it was a barra.
Yeah,
But
big boil.
Being a handline, I've caught them on rods, lures, whatever, all the rest of it. I'd never caught a metre on a handline, and I was like, oh, I don't think it's that big. And then I got it in probably to within 5 metres from the bank,
Off
and then
she goes.
I felt it turn its head, and I was like, oh, I actually have to give it a bit here. So I gave it a bit, but I managed to turn its head fairly quickly again and got it onto the bank. And because we're on a bit of a higher bank, by that time Nath was down there and he's grabbed it and he's just looked up and like giggled and like shook his head, because he knows that the last person you want catching a fish on this trip when everyone else is struggling is me.
But isn't it funny? You've got all this high tech stuff. You're mentioning all the lures you've used. The side
the
scan.
irony is you can't make this shit up.
You've got, and you go fishing with any of the TOs or the locals up north, and the hand line is the king because you're in direct contact with everything.
You've got what, 100-pound hand line?
And that's coming home.
Well, the thing is as well, and the chunk bait as well, it's like you said, it's coming home. You can line the bank with them so they're easy enough to cast.
Yeah.
And for me, so what I did before I went up there is I wrote all these messages on the hand lines that I brought up. So one was like, send it. One was like, liven up. And then
that one's
on
a particularly good one.
So the first and only fish that this hand line is ever going to catch
BCO
is big cunts only. I wrote on it. And sure enough,
I didn't know this either. So I've got my camera out, taking a bunch of photos of the lake. And mind you, this storm's starting to roll in. So this was picturesque. It was thunder,
purple,
lightning. Yeah, it looked wicked. So the Goatman Rangers are in the back. It looks amazing. Like I'm frothing for Lec too. Taking some good photos. We're done doing our business with the photos, and Lec goes, "Oi, Rothy, come and have a look at this." And I got a video of him. He goes, check this out, and shows us this hand line.
BCO.
Oh, man,
I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
That could be a brand.
I reckon it's going to be our little tagline. But I said it to Birchy when I put it out of the car. I was like, see this one, Birchy? Big cunts only. I'm going to catch a monster. And threw it out. And it's funny as well because everyone else was like, because we were all donutting, to that point, it was like I was throwing a few lines out and I was like, boys, Reese hasn't got a barra before. Rothy had never got one. I was like, if they go off, you boys grab them. I want to see you catch a barra.
Yeah.
So they were probably, Reese or Rothy was probably 10 seconds away from catching that fish because they were just about to land on the bank, and I probably would have gone, that's yours. So for me, it worked out absolutely perfectly.
Oh, mate.
And turns out, Nate threw it on the bank and we were all sitting around guessing. I think a few of the guesses were 104, 106. So I guessed about 105 and we got it on the brag mat and it was 111. So equaled my PB.
I remember when you showed me the photo, I said, that's going to be about 120. It was an absolute horse.
Yeah, well, if there's anything I'm good at is making them look bigger in the photos. But that's a scale off it as well. So
that's a 50-cent piece.
Yeah. So I pulled a scale out of it. And
it was cool to see that fish too. First time seeing a big barra like that. Look at goat smelling that scale like a sicko.
And
no way, you got to live the moment, mate.
That's it. I was saying to the boys, it's not often you get to stand over a big metre.
They are something to behold, though, aren't they? Like they're an amazing fish. Just
they
to
fit the
see
scenery, don't you reckon? Up there, like it's everything up there is just ancient and beautiful, and like.
And if you're a weak prick, you don't survive.
No,
and these things, as an apex predator, as a fish, I mean, you get your crocs, your barramundi, you know. They're the two kings of the river.
Yeah.
So, but a scale like that is mind blowing.
It was wicked. And the other thing is we're actually fishing up there with something on the line as well. So this year I got the trophy made up. It's the King of the Pentecost, we call it. So we've actually got it here. So Birchy won it last year.
That's quite an impressive trophy, actually.
And we get a compass engraved as well. So I got to take them home.
So Lec made himself a trophy.
It's funny because I sent the boys a video when was bringing it up. I had it on my trophy cabinet and I said, I'll be seeing you in 6 days.
Yeah, so this was next door, Lecca Premiership medal.
Yeah, I was
like,
showing off a bit.
Can I organise the trophy next year?
Yeah.
It's going to be like a pair of Y fronts with an extra big fly
Yeah.
for the meatery.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, so that's the king of the Pentecost. I'm going to have a beer out of that tonight as well. So,
Well, speaking of beers, have you got a spare one?
yeah, let's go.
Cheers.
You finished. Nice. So that was a wicked way to wrap up the day. Just as we think we're settling in, we're like, vibes are high. This is going to be wicked.
Champion.
Birchy has sent it back just after you've caught that barra to go and sort of put his kids to bed, have dinner with the family. I'll come back out, meet you boys later. So we're all setting up. We're like, okay, there's barra around. We're on here. This is going to be wicked. Get a phone call from Birchy. I think he called you. Like, what did he say?
Yeah, so we were about to cook up some beef rib bones on a fire, get a fire going and settle in.
That from the scrubber you shot.
It's looking good. Yep. From the cow we shot. And sure enough, like just as the spirits are high, like you said, Rothy, and fishing's about to go off and the storm's coming through, I think Boyo had left Home Valley Station and he had gone across the King and he said, it's at 1.1 that's rising to Birchy. So we didn't know this at the time, but Birchy rang me and got us on the two-way actually, on the two-way. And he said, boys, can you hear me? I was like, yep. And he goes, pack your shit up. We got about 2 hours to get across the Pentecost before we're stuck here and all our shit's stuck here for a couple of months. That river's rising. And it was like, fuck, like that's just our luck, the way this trip's going. So sure enough, we pack all our shit in. Reese and Rothy jump in the boat, start heading back down the river to the boat ramp. And I tell you what, they were halfway down the river and the lightning crack.
It was the loudest noise I'd ever heard. So mind you, I'd just shot a 308 for the first time the day before. That I thought that was loud.
No earmuffs?
No, I had earplugs in.
Yeah,
let bought some earplugs. But that was bloody loud. Driving up that river, it was like
it's like
that Metallica cover of Ride the Lightning, the album cover.
Dry explosion.
Mate, it just like I saw it creep and it was creeping through the clouds. It was the coolest like lightning I've ever seen. And then came the crack and it like literally made me go, oh, like that, like duck my head. And I'd also been pulling up the live scope pole, which is like giant aluminium
conductor up there.
Yeah, giant aluminium pole. So Reese just goes,
pole that just saved your life from the rapids.
So it saved my life and then it was about to get me on back and kill me nearly. But Reese just said, fold that thing down, sent it straight into the bank, didn't hold it there in the water or anything, just pulled it up on the rocks, winched it up dry. And at this point, like I said, Reese loves his new car and I don't blame him. He's thinking, I got to cross the river again and this thing's rising. So we're in a mad rush. I reckon we got back to the station and we're packed up within probably half an hour.
Yeah. And we had
that's
lots
terrible.
of shit.
It's terrible because you don't know if you've forgotten anything or you're in a rush.
Whatever we were leaving was staying behind the boat and the car was there. And anyway, so we had to take 3 cars back across.
The reason was, just to give a bit of context, Birchy had ferried his family over. So we'd got over there in enough car, like I think 2 or 3 cars or something.
Yeah. There was a car that already there. So we got over
so we had Big Johnny, one of Birchy's cars that was there, just a bit of a bush rig. But Birchy's family was there. So we had too many people for all the cars. So Big Johnny, which is just a farm rig, we had to take that back. We had no choice. So this thing has no windscreen wipers and was struggling to get into second gear. So Nath, Lec and I have hopped into this cruiser. And Lec's a good fall driver and pretty cool, calm, collected under pressure.
Double the clutch.
It was,
that's what it was like. But every time Lec went to put it in second, it was just just didn't want to go. Anyway.
And I had no brakes.
Heaviest rain I've ever been in. Make it worse, going down the road, no brakes. Brakes go.
No, that's
the brakes all right. The brakes went on it as we're going and literally couldn't see as well. So like you said, I'm usually cool, calm and collective. Rothy's sitting there.
I was having
with water over the road.
The time of my life. So the photographer in me is just like, this is the sickest story to tell. Like, this is going to be awesome. So I've got a camera mounted up behind us, filming the whole thing.
Oh, Jesus.
The windscreen wipers don't work. And Lec's like, wait, I can't see a thing. So I've taken my shirt off. I'm wiping the inside of the windscreen because we are sweating. We're wet already. Nothing's working. So we're like, how are we going to, we can't see. So Nathan and I have hopped out of the cruiser and we've rigged up a handline onto each windscreen.
Pulling the shirt across?
No, we've weaved it through the windows, so tied them off to the windscreen wipers, and we're sitting there manually working the windscreen wipers like this.
Just like Mr. Bean.
It was like a Mr. Bean thing.
Funny,
but Rothy's thinking this is all fun, like time of my life.
And you're going, shit, we're going to die.
I can't, I've got the lifes in my hands, like I can barely slow down. I've got to use the gears to slow down. I can't see. Every time the lightning goes off, I go blind.
Was the road sort of washed out by now?
Fucked. It was like washing out. Bundies everywhere. And keep in mind, every washout, I didn't know the road that well. So if I didn't slow down in time, it was pretty awkward.
So we caught up with Reese by then, who was towing the fish trap, Lex boat, and he's having to give, we said, oi, go in front. We need you to give us warning if there's another runoff, like bit of river coming up. So like even the smallest little
they cut out pretty quick too.
Yeah, even the smallest little divots or dips in the road were full. They were chockers full of water. So,
and you could drop into a metre and you wouldn't know.
Mate, so that gave me like a real like respect as to how dangerous the crossings and the washouts and all that sort of stuff can be, because I think so anyway, we ended up crossing the Pentecost, which was probably similar height. Maybe it was a little bit higher. My headlights went under the water on the way across, so I could
just keep pushing that bow wave. Yeah,
got to keep a bit of momentum. I was probably going a little bit quick, but
Birchy was in front, towing the tinny.
Yeah, so we had a convoy, but I think someone actually got washed off the crossing not long after us as well. So it was fairly dangerous. And then when we got to the King, we ended up leaving Janelle, Birchy's wife, because she had a car that was on the other side of the Pentecost. We had to leave that there overnight because that was...
We didn't leave Janelle there. We left her car there.
No, of course not.
That was not getting across the river. So it was a complete, like, an utter shit show. But Birchy knows those systems, knows the water levels, what he can cross. I reckon another half an hour and we wouldn't have got across the Pentecost or the King, and we would have been stuck there. So
Lex stressing the whole time, like very serious. He's got the radio on his lap. He's talking to Reese. He dialed in, like looked like a grandma driving a car. He was like right over the steering wheel. And because I'm sitting in the middle going like this, I'm in the middle of two blokes going like this, looking like I'm skiing between two blokes.
I'll tell you what, you could get the peep show.
He was giving the double wristy.
You come to the peep shows.
It looked like I was giving a couple of hand jobs out the side, right? And to make it funnier, I was already having fun, truth be told. Like, what an adventure. To make it worse and to piss Leck off even more, Nath's on my left-hand side, and every time I'm pulling his side of the windscreen wiper, he's going, oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? So, like, I'm laughing, Nath's having a laugh, and Lex just not having a bar of
At the time, Rothy's like, come on, mate, you know how things are always hard at the time. They're always fun afterwards. I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking in the time right now.
We're going to die.
Yeah, I can't actually slow down.
Not the time to have fun, Rothy.
Yeah, I was like, I know it's going to be fun when we talk about it tomorrow, but let's just get there. So anyway, we ended up making it back to Kununurra. The boys flew out the next day, and long story short, we had another shit show of a day trying to pull some guys out of the bog with Birchy. Bub snapped. Like it was just like at the time it was hard work. It was a hard slog. But we knew they were all going to be highlights of this trip. But this sort of stuff is day-to-day stuff for Birchy. We saw those 80 series get put to work like nobody else would put a vehicle to work.
It was a clinic in four-wheel drive. Like he just knows those cars so well. But Birchy's like really adamant that the 80 series is the only car he wants to own for that sort of thing because they're over-engineered and he knows how to drive them.
But if you look after them, they're perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call the type of driving that he does looking after him. He uses them for what they're built for.
Let's just say they're robust.
Yeah, that's for sure. But we were actually on our way out. So we linked up with Jordo, one of the boys from up there, who his Instagram is out and about _Kununurra. Check him out. He smashes the hunting and the barra up there, but he's talking about this particular spot on his mob's land. Yeah. He was going to take us to this crossing. He's thinking, oh, boys, like if the rivers are flowing the way that I think they're flowing, we're going to get out there. As soon as we chuck a lure in there, this spot, like it's going to go off. He's talking it up big time. Like we're pretty pumped to get out there. And Birchy gets a call. Hey, Birchy, we need rescuing. We're out here, whatever.
He's washed away.
Well, there was a couple of young lads from Wyndham that had basically drowned their Hiluxes up this track, and we ended up going in there, and Birchy's sending it. We're winching to get up there, and it's muddy. It was awesome. It was really cool. But anyway, we get up. At this point, I'm filming, so I've hopped out of the car and I'm filming some stuff. And Birchy and Lec, I just said, "Yeah, you guys go." My legs covered in mud, feet covered in mud. I'll walk. Get up the end of the track, and Birchy, and all I hear is Birchy go, "Fuck!" And I'm like, "Oh no, that can't be good." Walk up the end, and Birchy had just turned around, got in a position to pull this like blue stock Hilux, road tires, no lift, nothing, out of the mud, blown a hub. So no drive. So here we are. The rescue car is now stuck in the mud. What are we going to do? So Birchy's gone, okay, we got to go back to Kununurra, go get a
100 Ks away from town. Yeah. It's constant full drive.
Makes for a long day.
Mate,
we ended up hopping in a random full drive. I don't even know whose Hilux that was. It was one of the boys that was stuck. He just gave us the keys. He wasn't stuck. He goes, "Yeah, you guys go."
It's weird. It's weird how when someone's in trouble, the vehicles become communal.
Mate, that was one thing I learnt up there, right? Is when something goes wrong, it's all hands on deck.
Yeah, no questions.
There was people driving in. So this one Hilux was the one that got stuck. In the end, there was like 7 vehicles in there trying to save him. Jesus. And it was all the boys, and they were all putting in work. You know, everyone was trying to pull each other out. Birchy, we ended up having to do multiple trips to Kununurra. He didn't end up fixing the hub because he tried to pull the vehicle out to start with, but it was never coming out. His other mate that come out, Big Jack, looked at it and he said, "Mate, that car needs to drive itself out of here. There's no way you can tow it out." So
Jack knows what he's talking about too. He's been a bush ranger all across the top end, from everywhere from Cape York, Northern Territory, all up through WA. Really knows what he's doing too. So when he says something, he knows what he's talking about.
So he ended up going back, getting another hub, fixing it. He got home at 6 a.m. the next day, and this started at like 12 p.m. the day before. So
nice.
That put another line through our fishing.
You know what else was funny, Lec, that I got to mention, right? So Lec goes up there and he's a superstar, right? Yeah, AFL player up there, like everyone knows. Yeah, Lec's getting photos fucking everywhere we went. No one knows who I am. No one cares who I am.
You should have said you were like a WWE wrestler or something.
I could have said anything. They wouldn't have cared either way. But anyway, this old fella, he comes up to me and having a chat, and I've got a camera, and the boys go, "Oh, that looks like an expensive camera, brother. Like, what's the go there? Are you filming for Lecca's TV show? Am I going to be famous? Like, get some footage of me or whatever." But this old fella, he was sussing me out, and he goes, "What mob are you from?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just from Perth, bro." And he goes, "You're from the Budgeta mob." And I was like, somebody had said Budgeta earlier on. I might even be saying it wrong. But I said to Birchy, I was like, "Wait, Birchy, what's a Budgeta mean?" And he goes, "Big pussy." So I just said to this fella, I was like, "You just call me a big pussy." And he's just fucking like cracked up laughing. He goes, "Holy fuck, you know what you're talking about." And then he just goes, "Oh, you're all good." Like, you had to laugh with him because I threw it back at him. But fuck, that was funny. I got it all on footage too. I'll roll a clip of that for everybody to see. But man, that was a crack up. But yeah,
well, at least if you're the big pussy mob, you're useful.
But yeah, pretty funny. But all the lads took us in like their own. We were part of the crew for that day. It was sick to see. But I think a lesson that I took, like you were saying, Lec, it was communal. There was no questions asked. It was like the boy, and the other thing was the boys that were stuck ended up getting out, but they stayed. They stayed until, I think one of the boys was out there till 6 a.m. the next day with Birchy fixing his hub. So no one dogged each other. Everybody was there chipping in, helping out. But like we kind of were like useless as tits on a bull.
It is a completely different community.
Yeah.
And you've got, doesn't matter if you know, what mob you're from, whatever, the guys all chip in, especially if you're local there, you're a good bloke, they will do anything to help you out.
Yeah.
So, and if you come in to help someone, like you said, and they get out first, they're not leaving until you're out as well. Or because they'll drop anything immediately to get out there and help that because they know it's probably going to happen to them. You know?
Yeah.
So
But some crazy situations there with the tides and the weather.
Yep.
And you see some weird shit going on. I mean, we did a lot of helicopter prospecting up in the Kimberleys, and we had stuff brought in by barges and whatnot. And some of the stuff, I mean, you got barges stuck on rock bars.
Yeah.
And they're like at 30-degree angles, and there's, shit falling off the sides of them.
When it goes wrong, it goes sideways real quickly.
But you can't fight nature.
Yep.
So that's the thing is, that's the big leveler up there is you're all good. You got all the gear, you got the winch, all the shit. But nature is the big leveler.
I heard somebody say it. I can't remember if it was you. It might have been Luke, one of the boys that we were with. But the quote was, control the controllables. You just got to submit and be at the mercy of everything else that you can't control, because you'll never beat it. Never. No. Like that rain, that mud was just...
Yeah, you can't change the weather.
It was pretty incredible to see. But
that's what makes it beautiful, because you've got, you see some parts of Africa and, South America, and they're still untamed to a point, because the weather and the wet seasons dictate what can go on there. And then half the year it shuts down.
Yeah.
And there's nothing going on. There's no movement. There's no vehicles moving. Kimberley's very similar to that. So I think it's a special thing. And I think what you experience is probably, you could go there next time and have a perfect fishing trip, but you won't appreciate what you've got until you have a look at what you've been through the fire.
100%, right? It's you've got to have, and I've said this before we went up there to Rothy. I was like, like these trips are hard, and like generally they're hard, but you get more rewards. On this trip, we had so much adversity come our way that we had to try and pivot from. And it's all moments like that are going to be the stories that you tell, like all the things that go wrong that then lead to the highs feeling even better.
Yeah.
For me, I got a pretty good high because I got 1.11 meters. The rest of the boys, the fishing didn't really pay off. And for Rothy, it paid off in the absolute dying stages of this trip. So we were there for almost 5 days. We fished flat out. He cast lures every day.
He would have been like a thrashing machine, casting.
He was
put in more casts than anybody.
He was determined, And by that day 5, we'd been through the shit. We'd done the bog. We've done everything, and it was like
tired from the night before.
Birchy had to go to Darwin, so we had his car, and it was like, you probably got one more chance at a fish. We can go down to the boat ramp at the dam wall and have a flick around, and then maybe go to the crossing. And so we went down there, gave it a bit of a crack. There was nothing at the dam wall. We had an hour to go before we flew out. And it was like, you want to go down the crossing? Like, we've caught them there before, but it's usually sunrise and sunset.
I saw the film clip.
Yeah. And
he's dancing around. He's got his barra and he's hopping around.
So we get there, and I had this thought a couple of times when I was there. Like, how am I going to explain this on the podcast to give people that haven't been up there and they've never seen that river before, or the East Kimberley before? The only fishing that I thought I could compare these conditions to was the rainbow trout stuff. And it sounds crazy because it's completely different landscape. It's different tackle, completely different fish. But the way that the river flows is similar to the runoff you get in these feeder streams to these big dams. So
and you're hitting those eddies. And
you're looking for eddies. You're looking for the calm, slack water behind trees, behind rocks, or anything like that. We were at this dam wall. As we rocked up, I'd shout out to like, "Oi, I just saw a fish jump up the bloody
crossing."
Yeah, up the crossing. So it was probably, I don't know, 1 meter high, and I saw a fish swim up there. I thought, well, what the hell is that? Anyway, I'm flicking a lure, and Lex kind of like, we're pretty bloody tired at that point. So I think Lex got the aircon on the 80.
I'd got what I wanted out of the trip. I was like, I just wanted to see Rothy get a barra, and it was like, I'm not even going to cast.
Did you think I would get one?
I thought you were a chance. I've caught, like I said, I've caught them and I've seen them caught there before. I also didn't want to go down there and start casting lures and
Imagine
catch
if
one
you
in-
had got
and
another
catch one
major.
in fr- I didn't. Yeah, exactly.
Another major.
No, but I wasn't expect. I've fished there and sort of I've seen them come in there, and they're not big barra. Usually they do get them there, but I thought it'd be a bit of a dog of a move if I've caught a metre 11.
No, I wouldn't.
And then I come down and I pull one from under his nose as well. And I just wanted to see you get a barra as well. So I thought you were as good a chance as any because I've been up there at that time of year and like we speak to a local, cast soft plastic paddle tails, slow roll them.
Yeah.
And he said to me, he's like, mate, they're stacked higher down there. There's heaps of barra at the
and they usually probably are the runoff ones are going to be the first ones are going to be the males.
Yeah.
Smaller fish.
Yep.
And the females, when the slack water comes up, they're going to be the big females.
Yeah, I think and the big females are up around that dam wall. You may need a boat or whatever, but I thought you were a chance, but I also thought you were a chance of striking out as well because he sort of said, it's not tidal there. So generally it's early morning, late arvo sort of plays a role. So
and it was running too. Like it was running hard. So the first lure that I tied, I didn't have anything really that was overly heavy. The lure that I threw the most was sort of a 5-inch panic station mullet, which by the way, amazing lure. The action on those things are incredible. But even that wasn't real. That's more of, I'd call that more of a swim bait style lure.
Yeah.
I didn't have jig heads heavy enough to rig up any of my dial bait junkie minnows or anything like that. So Birchy, that morning or the morning before when we were meant to go out with Jordan.
That is incredible.
Picked these up at the servo. They're Reedy's rubber.
I've been given those in fluoro orange, like an orange roughy. And then my brother-in-law's given me a couple of packets of those and I've gone, what the hell am I going to use these for?
Well, they swim. I've caught barra on them before as well.
They swim awesome.
But probably the tail just would have them gun like a bloody.
Yeah, they get that action going.
Like a dilly.
Yeah.
I just cut my finger on the end of the hook. But
the other thing as well is that at the crossing,
body roll is amazing. But the reason that I tied this on is because it had the heaviest lead in it. So I knew that if I cast this upriver, at least I'm going to have a chance of actually getting down below the wash a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, no treble on the bottom at the crossing.
Nah,
you
snagged
get
up.
snagged up to
Yeah.
it.
So the panic stations mullets, they've got treble on the bottom and the top. Everything else I had in there, I had a Irukandji Sicario DTF, which is a similar sort of lure that had 2 trebles on the bottom. I couldn't throw that.
No, they would just get hooked up all the time.
I could feel this skipping across the top of the rocks, and out the corner of my eye, I've seen this fish jump. And it was behind this rock in a little bit of an eddy. I started peppering that. I probably put 10 casts in on it, and I started seeing all these bonies right at my feet. Big bonies too. Anyway, I'd kind of zoned off. I thought we got to check in pretty soon. And dead set, this little barra, probably about 50 centimetres, 60 centimetres or so. I didn't measure it. I always forget to measure my fish.
Would have been
for
around
some
50,
reason.
I reckon.
Doesn't matter. You don't need to measure that, mate.
Don't really care. This barra smashed this thing dead set about a foot away from the bank. I didn't even get to turn the reel. I set the hooks in the thing.
pole.
Yeah, literally. It was like tuna pole,
Yeah.
like pole and tuna. I set the hooks in this thing. It jumped like probably about a metre out of the water, and I set the hooks and pulled it onto the bank. And I think I might have even said in the GoPro footage, what the fuck just happened? So Lex out of my view, and I'm shouting, oi, Lecca, oi.
I've done it.
Yeah, I fucking got one. Like, no way, what's just happened? I've walked up where Lex parked the Ivanhoe crossing, and I just held this thing up by the lip and was just, oh my God, the sigh of relief that I had was, the relief was
Everyone
awesome.
comes down, squirts you down with 4X.
Yeah.
Completely unintentional. I just thought I need to take a seat.
Yeah.
Look for a rock.
They're
Where did I
amazing.
sit down? On the Ivanhoe crossing slab, right next to the sign, laid down, Lex filming. And I just let out the biggest, yes! I was so stoked.
They're
But that
amazing.
just made
They're
the trip
amazing
worth
fish, though. You look at them, they're not quite prehistoric, but
Yeah. It's like the iconic. It's the species, isn't it? Like,
they are an incredible predator. The biggest barra I caught was we were up prospecting up in the Kimberleys, and we've been chopped into this spot back at Cone Bay, Talbot Bay, sorry. And one morning we were out like walking around these, the peninsulas and collecting samples and shit. And it was hard going. 11 Ks a day was as much as you could do. And that's for like 16 hours. So the ground's hard. Went down the next morning, down to where the fresh water meets the mangroves. I thought, I'll take a dump. And I thought, there's nowhere there to dig a hole because it's all rocks. So you like lean over this bloody bit of a cliff and you take a dump. And all these archer fish are like going, hang on.
Oh, spitting up at you.
Pizza showtime.
Yeah.
And they're like getting stuck into this turd. Anyway, I'm like,
Bit of a bidet there.
big barramundi has flashed through all these archer fish, and I'm going, fuck. So I've nipped it off, gone over. I had my Calcutta there, my I forgot what rod it was. Chucked out this Halco bloody lime green thing.
Yeah.
And I flicked it out and I wound as hard as I could. This barramundi, about a metre, flashed up behind it and missed the hooks. I went, shit. I failed to notice that I'm still like, don't have any pants on. So I've flicked the lure out again and I've jerked it, paused it, jerked
What?
Yeah.
the lure. Come on. I just had a dump. Jerked the lure and bang, this thing hit this lure. And I'm like dancing around these rocks, bare feet, no pants on. I'm like bringing this lure, like the barramundi in. Anyway, there's a crocodile slide going up in the corner and it was like mid-tide. And this barramundi was so big I couldn't lift it up on the leader. So I had to like lead it around the croc slide and it was still had like the last couple of jumps left. And as it jumped, I reefed it up onto this croc slide and slid it up the bank. And I ran up to the camp and I was so proud. I was just going, look at this. Anyway, my old man came down, my mate Toddy came down, and the fish still had the lure in its mouth. And as we were taking some photos, it flicked its head and it hooked right through the palm of my hand, the middle treble. Anyway, that's a story for another time, but I'll tell you what.
How big was it?
It's about a metre.
Yep.
But just a big, the yellow fins on it.
Yeah, like big saltwater barra or what?
Yeah.
Beautiful big barra.
Yeah.
And we ate that for 3 days. But to get the hooks out of my hand, that was another story in itself.
Yeah. No, there's nothing worse.
But the memory
The way
of,
they kick, I can imagine it would have set some hooks in you.
mate, lucky I sharpened the hooks because as I tried to pull them out with the pliers, break the skin, your skin's very elastic.
Yeah.
But your first barramundi, your second barramundi, your 10th, anyone you get is an absolute masterpiece. Same as your mulloway.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I feel the same way about mullies.
And that, like I was saying that, so I looked up and I saw Rothy coming up and he had this fish and he had this big smile. And I knew he'd put in the work, and to do it, I was saying to him as well, like doing it at the Ivanhoe crossing.
Yeah.
I was like that, you see footage of that thing all the time, So anytime anyone does a video up at Kununurra on their caravan YouTube or fishing, they always cross the Ivanhoe and get the drone shot.
Yeah.
It's like you'll be able to look at that spot and you'll be like, that's where I caught my first barra. And he got a couple of wicked photos on the sign with the crossing in the background. And it's, mate, epic.
And I had a GoPro on my head when the fish hit, which
and
was
on
foggy,
a lure
but
as well.
still.
You wanted to get one on a lure. So, and it all paid off. And we legit had to go to the airport and in an hour. So it was like 5 days, dying moments. It was like he got a bit of an ending to his trip. He got the reward. So
I had goosebumps in the car. I said, look at my legs. I had goosebumps on my legs just
that's
because
your whirlwind tour.
Yeah,
really.
It was so epic, and it just kind of reinforced for me that it's not always about the fishing. If you went up there and had it, look, I wouldn't complain with having 20 fish days every day up there. No way, but that I've got memories now that I'll never forget. That was pretty amazing.
I think it's like any fish, especially starting out as a young bloke. You work way up, you way up through your herring, your species. The first salmon I caught at Walpole, and the first big tailor I caught, first kingfish, first any of those things. But to have such an adventure, your first barramundi, That's like how you gonna match that?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the size of the fish or whatever. You've got that imprinted on your head,
Yeah.
in your brain.
And
to
be
share
up there with
it with your
Birchy
mates.
and Lecca and
Yeah.
Nath, Luke.
I
Reese.
just think the experience, I mean, fishing is the experience. And a lot of people go out there and go, oh, the fishing was shit, you know. But when I took, say, Volk out there and the weather was pretty dodgy, he goes, oh, mate, this is beautiful. We saw whales jumping. The conditions weren't that great and we were sort of slugging our way through it. He goes, this is beautiful. This is a great day for us.
Yeah.
And he was stoked just to see the whales and whatever.
Must be out there.
But the thing is, it's what you gather from the experience. And we take a lot for granted going out and fishing perfect days and bagging out and whatever. But I think a lot of the time the fishing it's more about the experience than what you bring home in the freezer.
100%.
Owen was the one that put that into really good words when he was here. He was like, you might hold up a fish and it might be a 50 centimetre barra and people will go, oh, it's not that big or whatever, but they don't know what you went through to get it.
That's it.
You know, it was that we went through hell to get that fish. And at the end, that's the reward, and couldn't have been happier. And I remember saying to Rothy, I was like, there's only one day you ever get to have on this earth where you got your first barra.
Yeah.
But so enjoy it because
I'm stoked. And to all the boys' credit, no one ever had anything negative to say. No one ever let their spirits get them down or whatever like that. It was like, look where we are. How many times did we say that?
I was going to say,
look around, look where we are.
Because normally there's a few punch-ups on those trips, but
it's a good crew.
That says something because nothing frays the nerves like a bog car, someone with information or like how to get out of the bog and, oh, you're not doing it right, but they're not the guys on the shovel or the winch or whatever.
No.
And that says a lot about the guys you're with is, you know, you all get along.
Yeah.
You're enjoying, it's not enjoying, but you enjoy your experience. And it's bonding.
Mate, we laughed so much along the way too. Like even on those shitty days, you know, like I got out the shower one day and I heard boo, boo, boo on the door. Luke, who's the operations manager at Mount Hart Station.
Venture Atlas now.
Yeah, Venture Atlas, yeah. So he's fucking funny and he's happy-go-lucky. He's the leader when it comes to
morale.
Morale and keeping the vibes high. I'd told him earlier in that trip that I wanted to find a snake and pick it up. So, boo, boo, boo. Lex at the door.
Next cubicle.
Luke's standing behind him. I'm in a towel. That's it. And Luke comes over Lex's shoulder with a children's python in his hand and goes, here, mate, here you go. So like little things like that. I'm holding a snake and, there was geckos everywhere and hanging out with Birchy's daughter, Nita, who's like more of a twin than she is his daughter. Like it was just cool to be around all that and meet all those boys. And, you know, I spoke to Birchy today and he just said, mate, thanks so much. It's all love. Like you're welcome anytime. And, you know, whenever any of those guys come down to Perth, we'll look after them. It's just
everyone's got to
wicked.
Experience the Kimberleys. And it's good to get it from the ground up rather than, you know.
Well, we got it the most authentic way we could possibly get
that's gold.
So, but I'll keep this lure forever.
We're putting that in the wall. I'm going to put the handline up and just exactly like Big Cunts Only. It was good cunts only on that trip.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, Goatman, you were our first guest.
Thank you.
Now, we've had some people putting their lures on the wall. We asked you to bring some lures in. I see some stuff on the table here. What do we got?
I've got a couple of these beauties here. They're handmade.
I'll get them for you. You stay there. You stay there.
Because I'm injured. I like that. Thank you.
After you.
Old man. These guys here are hand-carved lures that I've made specifically to work at Steep Point. And they could have probably done with being a bit bigger, but carved these out, worked out how they swim at Blackwall Reach, which is a similar sort of
the cliff there.
You know,
height.
The height. Made sure they swam all the way to the base of the rocks. This guy here, I got like I think 7 mackerel and a yellowfin tuna on him before the bib gave out.
Oh yeah. Looks like a smiley face, a little sort of angry face at them.
And this is what he probably looked like. This is caught about 3 mackerel.
Wicked. And you made these yourself?
Yeah, carved them out of Moranti.
Did you have a name for them?
I called them the death minnow, but yeah, it's pretty poxy, but
that's
cool.
wicked, dude. It's the
Probably
same as what we spoke about with the fish. It's like, like the story behind it is better than buying one and pulling it out of the packet. That's epic.
But I've
They look like a scorpion.
probably,
RNG
but
scorpion.
I introduced a Perspex bib to them
Yep.
as they get a bit more advanced, but I handed these out at State Point, and a lot of guys that weren't catching fish, I would give them one of these on a 40-pound bit of stainless trace with a clip. I'd sharpen all the hooks, and these guys are like running all these lures straight out of the packet. Hooks are blunt, got no idea.
Yep.
And I would say, chuck this out, bang. And they'd get their first Spanish mackerel, shark mackerel, tuna. And I met some guys at the North Mole, and they were still running some lures that I had chasing bonito. That's like 10 years afterwards.
Way.
Yeah, and these two young guys, they said, we've got some of your lures here.
Lures.
No way.
Hey, are you still making lures?
I'm going to start again very soon.
Can you make, I'll buy you a lure. Can you make me a lure?
You know what we should do? We do a bit of a video, sort of a scroll, and you and I will make a lure from scratch, and you'll catch a fish
I
with
would
that.
love that,
How
mate.
good. Let's do it. I want to be in on that too.
Yeah, mate.
Sick.
You can.
But he wants it to catch a fish, so he's going to get it.
I've caught.
Well, you can only catch fish on bait, mate.
Mate, I've got meteries on lures before. I had to do something different. Yeah, my first metery.
But so I've made lures for river and freshwater impoundment, and also saltwater.
Yep.
And they work like a charm,
mate. Let's that deal. Let's do it. I want to catch a fish on one of Goatman's lures.
Done.
All right, and we can hang these in the wall.
Certainly can.
Bloody
Sweet
legend.
as. We'll do that after. So
Hallelujah.
How good, mate.
we better.
This pod was probably more about one of our trips, but we would love to make you a regular guest. We know you got shitloads of stories.
Some of them, we should have a OnlyFans one.
Yeah, Talk Tales OnlyFans.
I got some pretty good.
You got to subscribe to hear that.
I got some pretty good stories.
Yeah. I'd love to get you in and pick your brain. We know you love lots of these fisheries around Perth as well. So timing wise and that, we're going to utilize you. And I want to take you up on that challenge. But before we go, Rothy, you got a couple of things you want to roll through.
Yes. So while you pull the listener questions up, Lec, we have a very, very exciting announcement for our listeners and the little community that we've built. So when we started this podcast, we knew that we wanted to be specific on who we worked with if we were going to have sponsorship. And we use the best tackle. We're not going to push anything to you guys that is shit. Straight up. If we don't believe in gear, whether it's fishing gear, ball driving, camping, services, anything like that, we're not going to endorse it. So a couple of months ago, I got a really exciting email in my inbox from the guys at Daiwa, and they've been watching the podcast or listening to the podcast from the very beginning. And it was really flattering that they reached out to work with us. So I can officially say, Lec, that Daiwa has come on board with Tall Tales. We've partnered with them, and they're going to be sponsoring the listener questions moving forward. So this will be the last listener questions that you guys hear from us that doesn't have a prize pack to go with it. So the way that it's going to work is if we've got a guest on the podcast, we're going to throw the 3 best questions, and the guest is going to pick the best question. And that question, whoever asked it, is going to get a wicked prize pack from Daiwa. So there might be soft plastics, jig heads, line, leader, reels, rods, full setup. Never know what you can get in that prize pack for that week.
Rolls Royce.
Yep. So we're hooking you guys up. It's going to be really exciting. So
what better sponsor to have?
So hang on. What are you saying that I'm missing out here?
No, we'll look after you.
No, look,
about that.
You're a Daiwa man. I've been on your boat. You got about 10 Certates sitting on there.
I've got 5 Certates and
new Certate coming out.
Mate,
Can't say too much. Oh, no, they launched it today,
they launched
actually.
it.
They
Yeah,
announced it. So, yeah, there's a new
mate,
Certate
I've
coming out.
landed some of the biggest fish I ever, like the big kingfish on the Certates. And, if you're going to buy some gear, Daiwa.
After it.
I used to, like, chop around a bit, but nothing else survives. I remember how Harvey, seeing I bought another reel, and he just tears up the guarantee in front of me. He said, not for you, because you punish them too hard.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the Daiwa gear is top-notch. So,
Well, usually the questions start off with Daiwa or Shimano, but the first question for the Goatman is Daiwa or Daiwa?
mate, if you can afford to get yourself some Certate, any of the Daiwa gear, but I insist if you buy any new reel, have a look at it, put a bit of lube on it, look after it, wash it.
That's cool.
You can't have a thoroughbred and treat it badly.
Well, I'll tell you what, I have not treated my Saltigas from 2010 with as much love as they should have, and they are still going strong. And probably two of the first reels I'll chuck on, and rods that I'll chuck on the boat when I go out. So that I'm pumped, mate. So hopefully good things moving
I
forward.
love my Certates
Gold.
too.
I'm
I'm
gonna-
pumped. That was the other thing too, Lec and I love the Daiwa brand too. So,
Yeah.
great fit.
All right, so I'm just going to ask a couple of questions. We'll start wrapping. We'll start wrapping this up. So we had some good questions.
I've got to take
coming.
a piss soon, so
Yeah,
you got to
yeah.
wrap
Let's
it up
wrap it up.
quickly.
Wait, like I said, this has been a bit of a us chat, Goatman, but it's wicked to have you in here. All right, so first one, Bully Butcher, who won the beer drinking competition?
Not me, because I don't drink.
So
That would have been Lecca for sure.
So Bully Butcher's Nath from he was on the trip as well, and I think he quickly read the play with how slow the fishing was. He knows how to read a river as well. So we were getting stuck into a few beers along the trip.
Good work.
Halco tackle, most wood duck fuck up of the trip.
It's got to be when we went over that rock bar.
Yeah, it's the rock. I'm flat. We didn't have the drone up. It's got to be the rock bar, and like you can't go past doing the hub.
Yeah,
100 Ks. That was bad.
Man, that was horrid.
And barra to beer ratio from drags locked, probably about
60 beers
60
per
beers
barra.
per barra.
Yeah.
This other one here is who was the king of parries? That was from Little Blondie.
That's Ryan.
Yeah, that is
So
right.
that's Ryan on Instagram. So Ryan is the king of Paris.
Yeah.
He was one of the boys that was with us. Oh God, there's heaps of listener questions in here.
Pick another two and we'll wrap this up. We've been going for ages.
So this one's Aiden Dobleman. This is a great question. So this is a great example of a good question that might win your Daiwa prize pack come next week. Advice for a young land-based fisher looking to buy his first boat or tinny. Great question. Ooh, so where would you start?
Start small.
Get yourself a Westerberg Seagull. That's what I'd say. We put that thing through absolute fucking hell over the last 5 days.
Hardly a tinny
If you got a budget, you just got to fish to the conditions. I started out with a 4.3 Clark Abalone with a console welded on the bloody middle seat, and I took that thing way out of where it should have been. But if you got all the safety gear, you know the ocean, just stick with what you know, stick within your limits.
Just get started, I would say. And
Yeah.
I reckon I'll probably give one bit of advice. Is
Read the ocean.
get to learn your boat, but get into it, but get something that's stable.
Yeah.
I think that stability on the water is key, particularly in a small boat. So if it's 3.7, 4 meters, whatever, see how you go.
Yeah, young land-based fisher looking to buy his first tinny. Yeah, I would also take care of your maintenance as well. Make sure you're maintaining your bearings, all that sort of thing. Put a little casting deck in there, mate. You buy something that you can actually afford, and that way you can add your sounder, any electronics that you want, accessories, that sort of thing. Work to your budget, mate. You'll be fine.
Last
You can
one.
upgrade from there. On a scale of 1 to orgasmic, how good is Rothy at the Dutch rudder? That's from Jeremy J, a mate of mine. He's talking about when I was in the middle of
I'll
Lec
give him
and
a
Nath,
1.
So yeah, probably the worst one Lec's ever had. But anyway, exciting potty. Good recap. Stoked to finally share that we got Daiwa coming on board. So super stoked with that. As of next week, we'll be, or fortnightly, I guess I should say, next episode, we'll be giving away a prize pack. So make sure you ask those good questions and we'll hook you guys up.
We got some wicked stuff coming up too. We got some good guests lined up. We'll get back into the swing of things with that. And
Blue Marlin Classic coming up.
mate, yep, Sovereign Blue Marlin Classic. We're fishing early next year as well, and we're getting behind. So we got some good stuff in the lead up to that. And we're getting ready to fire up. So stay tuned.
Let's go. Tall tales.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Need to sleep after that trip, eh?
Yeah, big time.